good to finally have you alone, Arcee.
Oh, Springer. Springer!
Arcee? But what are... who is... what?
How could you treat on me with the latest duplicate?
Duplicate? I just thought you got a new body. Hey, wait up!
As if... Hey, what's wrong with him?
Hey YouTubers, Grimmy here, and this is the video review for the Transformers Generations Arcee figure. After about close to 30 years, we're finally getting an Arcee figure that's accurate to the G1 iterations. Ever since the animated movie in 1986, fans have been wanting a G1 Arcee figure, and it took them a while, but they finally made it happen. Now, like all of the Thrilling 30 IDW series figures, the deluxes at least, Arcee comes with her own comic book with this lovely image of the character on the cover. It's a well-drawn cover, and it's nice to have a way to keep the cover art, since it's done so nicely. The comic included is the last chapter of Dark Cybertron. So this pretty much wraps up the entire story, which is good. I'm glad that they've included the Dark Cybertron saga in this set. So, yeah, that's enough for that. Okay. Arcee's vehicle mode is one of the nicest iterations of the Generation 1 Arcee I've seen ever made. And this includes all the third-party iterations. I have Valkyrie, but I've never touched a Delicate Warrior or Azalea. So I couldn't really comment directly on how they look. But from what the images I've seen, Azalea is more of a Cybertronian look, like a hover car kind of thing, and Delicate Warrior has the same faults as many fan-made Arcees in the back. And as you can see, the back for this one is done nicely. It's a full-on vehicle. Now, for example, I'm going to bring in Valkyrie just to get this out of the way. And while Valkyrie looks fine from the front, the back leaves something to be desired. Arcee is actually looks pretty complete in her vehicle mode, which is nice. She rolls well. Her wheels are even. Took me a while at first to get the wheels right, so it's just a matter of making sure that everything is lined up correctly at the bottom. Speaking of, yes, you look under it, you can see a lot of robot parts, particularly arms and legs and guns. Yeah, her guns actually do store nicely underneath the car. In fact, one gun is actually used to help lock the arms in place, which is a nice touch. Now, this gun here is difficult to get out when transforming it. Like when transforming the figure, I mean. So, gotta be careful about that. It's going to take a little more force than you would think, but don't overdo it. But yeah, I mean, this is a really nice version of Arcee. And yeah, you can see how that compares to Valkyrie. I'm also going to bring in the closest thing that Hasbro has done to an official G1 Arcee, and that is animated Arcee. And yeah, there is a bit of a difference in the colors, the aesthetic, closed canopy, convertible type. Really dark maroon color versus the more famous pink. So yeah, there were some significant differences. I'm also going to bring in a custom that I made of this one in the G1 colors. As you can see, there's still, while the color scheme helps it a bit, there's still an aesthetic difference. Get these out of the way. Now, speaking of color scheme, you may notice that there's a bit of black on the figure. The hood, the back parts, all have this black striping or black detailing, which is not very G1. I think that goes more to the IDW iteration of Arcee. I could be wrong on that. But I guess it just helps say this is not going to be your father's G1 toy. I don't know. But yeah, this is, there is some black detailing. It looks nice. I would have preferred to go without it. But Car is actually doing a version without the black detailing. So I'm going to be looking forward to that. Now, in addition to the guns, Arcee does include a pair of swords, but she doesn't really have any hidden storage areas for them in vehicle mode. But you will notice that you have two notches in the back where you can actually mount the swords like so, and they mount nicely. Kind of look like forward pointing guns. If you want, you could also mount them on the sides. And that doesn't look too bad. Kind of gives her a winged look. Now for the other feature, you could, provided I can get them out. Like I said, they are rather stuck in there. Could take the guns and you can mount them on the back of the car. Giving this version of Arcee a very violent looking vehicle mode to match the rather violent IDW characterization of her. So yeah, you got plenty of options as far as what you can do with Arcee in her vehicle mode, which is pretty cool. But I think we've gone into vehicle mode enough. So why don't we get her into robot mode and see how she looks there. Alright, now that we got Arcee in our robot mode, first impression is that it is gorgeous. And this is a very beautiful sculpt for Arcee. And they did a good job of bringing it out to the movie, like the 86 movie. So it does look a lot like that character. The head sculpt is well done. I mean, that is a very pretty face. See if we can get a little closer. And the paint work is actually pretty nice too. Although in the light you really can't see the difference between the white and the pink, but it is there. And I especially like the fact that they added just enough detail on the lips to make them noticeable. She does have light piping, and it works fairly well. It's hard to tell with the way the lights are. Let's see if we can do something about that. Oh, there we go. As you can see, she does light pipe like a champ. So that is always a good thing. Now just a little bit. You can tell that the body is very feminine in design, which is perfect. Some would say maybe a little too far, since you can actually see some definition in the belly. But, you know, I think it worked out pretty well. And the curvature actually goes beyond just the front. I mean, you can actually see a nicely defined arch in her back, which is a very nice touch. And, well, it seems to angle up a bit. She does have a bit of a bust too. So yeah, that works out pretty well. Paint job wise, much like the vehicle mode, there is some added black to it. I don't know why Hasbro wanted to add black to this one. I think it was just to blend more in with the IDW version of the character, but yeah, I don't notice a lot of black on that one either. But yeah, I guess it's just an aesthetic choice. Still, it doesn't hurt the figure in one bit. The gloves, or at least the glove look on the hands, is actually nice. I mean, the only gripe I could think of is the fact that there's a black line going down her sides. Kind of breaks it up a little bit more than I'd like. But other than that, yeah, it works out pretty well. Now, as you can see, she can also holster her weapons on her thighs, either her swords or her guns. But honestly, the guns look better holstered than the swords do. So we'll get this off. Now, there are two types of hands that you can get. And the main difference would be in the thumbs. You can see the version I have here actually has an open hand, but there's also a lip at the very bottom, which prevents the gun from going all the way through. Same thing happens with the swords, and given the way the handles are designed, it can be hard to get her to hold them steadily. There is a version where this thumb piece actually touches the fingers, giving you a closed off thing, but there isn't any lip, so the guns will go through a lot easier. Now, I have seen people actually manage to force the guns and sword handles through, but that does put stress marks on the hands, so it might not be the best idea. Now, additionally, on the swords, if you'd like, you can actually mount them on the wrists. If I can get this in. Yeah, there we go. To give her an arm blade. And that actually looks pretty nice. the guns can even be mounted on these little peg holes on the back of her, well, on her backpack, to actually give her shoulder mounted rockets, or just shoulder mounted cannons, however you want to do it, picture it. And that looks pretty good, but you know, I don't think I want to display her like that often. But since we're on it, let's get a look at this backpack. For the most part, it is fairly accurate to the G1, at least as far as the bits over her shoulders. The rest of the backpack, yeah, it does stick out a bit, but it's really, it couldn't be helped. I mean, they're trying to get her to that 80s design, which it'd be difficult to try to incorporate all this into the robot mode without creating kibble somewhere else. So I think the backpack turned out fine. You know, it might turn off a few people, but for me, yeah, it works. I mean, this works. I like it. For her posability, she's got about 13 points. Well, I almost untransformed her there, but she's got a ball-jointed head. So you got left and right, up and down. You got ball-jointed shoulders, bicep swivel. Trying to make sure I don't get hands in the way. Nice elbow bend with some detents to actually keep them in place, which is nice. No waist articulation, unfortunately, but she does have universal hips, although they can only go out so far. Which, yeah, that's unfortunate, but what can you do? They do go out farther when you lift them up, though, so you can get some nice kicking poses if you want. She has a swivel at the thigh, bend at the knee, nice deep knee bend, and forward backward at the toe. So yeah, she's got a nice range of motion to her. And those feet have a good amount of heel, so she can stand pretty well. So yeah, she looks pretty good. Now, for comparisons, she never had an actual G1 version, although plenty of people made third-party versions of her, including this one, Valkyrie, which is the only third-party Arcee I have, at least currently. Oh, come on. And Valkyrie has a problem standing. So if I can, so hopefully I can get her up. There we go. So yeah, but we also got animated Arcee, which was the first time Hasbro decided to try to make a figure that had movie Arcee, like the original Arcee's aesthetics, which turned out well in its own right. As you can see, the colors on the new one work out nicer. And you can also see where they started with the blacks on that. I custom painted one and added a third-party head to try to get a more G1 accurate Arcee, like here. And yeah, turned out okay, I think. this up. And just a couple more for this. We got the G1 Colors First Edition Arcee, which I guess I'll put here. Let's move this one out a little bit. Oh, you just killed our reviewed subject. There we go. Again, different Arcee altogether, but they did get the colors pretty good. And just for fun, Arms Micron Arcee. So yeah. She's had some different looks over the years. But I think this new figure is one of the best molds that she's had. And I'm excited to get the Takara version of her. So, got another comparison to do. Get these guys out of the way real quick. Because 2014, which is the year she came out last year, of course, had quite a few nice fembots. So why don't we bring her out with her other companions, like Windblade and Chromia, and the other fembot release, Strongarm. Yeah, I mean, she looks good with the other girls, and I think that this group is going to be a nice little bit to have. Now, we do have another comparison to do. Alright guys, I just got a lot of things I want to compare her to, and I think you like seeing this stuff. So, now the big ones. This is probably more important. The 86 movie cast. So we got, of course, Springer. And we gotta get Hot Rod in. I probably have to back this up quite a bit, because there's a lot to do here. Let's get Perceptor in the shot. Back this up a bit. Sure she's in front. Gotta have Ultra Magnus. And Rodimus Prime. Yeah, we're getting both versions of Rodimus in here. Why not? Get in Optimus, just cause we can. Got Blur. Cup. And, last but not least, Wheelie. So I'm sure a lot of people want to put her with a G1 style movie crew. And here's how she looks with the Classics Universe Generations group. So yeah, she looks pretty good with her fellow castmates. And I think she will look great on any classic shelf, although like I said, I am very much looking forward to Takara's release of this figure. And as soon as I get a hold of her, I'll share her with you guys. So until then, take care and have fun. Bye-bye.